They say a good deed is its own reward, but for these Australians, it's a king's honour. This year's Order of Australia includes household names like plastic surgeon and 2005 Australian of the Year, Professor Fiona Wood. Her spray-on skin technique saved severely burned victims in the aftermath of the Bali bombings.
It is extraordinary to be recognised by one's peers and the community in this way. It really is, sort of takes your breath away.
In Adelaide, Dr. David Squirrel couldn't continue practicing after losing most of his sight and hearing in 2008. He spent the next 15 years advocating for improved accessibility for people with disability.
It's a challenge, and one has to learn to adapt. Yes, you can get depressed, dejected, but you have to rise above that.
This year's honours include not one, but two Tasmanian premiers. Robin Gray received an Officer of the Order for his 7 years in government in the 1980s. And Laura Giddings, who at 23 was the youngest woman elected to an Australian Parliament before eventually becoming Tasmania's first female Premier in 2010.
My dad's no longer with us, but he was a man who loved his medals, and he had an Order of Australia medal himself, an OAM though, and I know how much that meant to him and just how proud he would be today.
Professor of Criminology at the University of Queensland, Lorraine Masero, is one of only 4 Companions of the Order this year, the highest rank. Her research advances innovative policing methods.
My research also shows that police, when they work in partnership with communities, when they work in partnership with other agencies like schools, they can actually be much more effective than when they work alone.
As an Aboriginal community police officer, Yolngu woman Betina Dangar is recognized for her work combating domestic violence and training police in providing culturally appropriate support.
It's very important because it builds a bridge on how we can work in both ways, Palanda and Yolngu.
Now, I've been at the weather maps for nearly 40 years.
Media identities are also recognized, including ABC Queensland weather presenter Jenny Woodward, Channel 10 newsreader Sandra Sully, former Sunrise host David Kosh, and SBS founding member Majida Aboud Saab, who helped create the network's first Arabic news service.
Not everyone had a phone, but everyone had a radio. Here in Australia, they would listen to information, settlement information in their own language.
A posthumous member of the Order was awarded to Canberra human rights lawyer Sophie Jessica Trevitt, who fought for Indigenous youth before losing her battle with cancer last July. The same honour was bestowed on the late Reverend Robert John Maguire, known to many simply as Father Bob. 100-year-old Lillian Reese is the oldest recipient this year. While most people relax in their 80s, she dedicated her twilight years volunteering with sick children and their families.
People are not as kind or generous to each other. People always say, I haven't got time, but we always made time.
Golden advice from a golden girl and a member of the Order of Australia. Nabil El-Nashar, ABC News,